Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the news briefing this Wednesday, July 22nd. Well, Car Week is just a couple of weeks away. It's August 7th through 16th. So we want to delve into this celebration of all things automotive. As you all know, everyone who lives here knows it just brings tens of thousands of enthusiasts here to our area each year. We're going to talk about the events, and we're going to talk about hospitality, safety, and of course, help for those navigating around all the events. So first, we're very pleased to have Rob O'Keefe of C Monterey. Rob is going to give us kind of the big picture and what we can expect this year. Hi, Rob. Thanks very much for being on the briefing today.
Hello. Thank you for the opportunity, and good afternoon, everybody. I think we just got into afternoon away from morning. Yeah, I'll give a very brief overview because I think most of the people, most of you on here are very familiar with Monterey Car Week. I'll start by saying we are referring to it a little bit more formally as Monterey Car Week. I think for us locals, we just sort of conventionally call it Car Week, but it is in fact a global event. During the Car Week, which is, as everyone knows, more than a week, we are the epicenter of global car culture. Monterey County is. And we attract over 100 million visitors during the time frame. Interesting fun fact for you, that time period alone accounts for 5% of all occupancy for the entire year. Obviously, it's a big deal. We all know that, but that's just one more fun way to characterize that. It generates we're estimating over $130 million in visitor spending, which obviously is great for hotels, restaurants, all our tourism businesses, and of course our government folks who need the TOT and the sales tax that come with that. So that we're also very excited about. And to give you sort of a sense of what C Monterey does, we acknowledge the fact that nobody owns Monterey Car Week, but all of us benefit from it, and all of us have a responsibility to do what we can to understand it, have some sense of visitor management, experience management, because it's not just for the travelers, it's also an impact in good ways and sometimes challenging ways for our residents. So we work very hard and have been doing this for almost 10 years to really try to get our arms around it. And that process starts with a meeting that we had in June, where we met with over 25 of the event producers. We do a virtual roundtable just to find out what's going on, what's new, anything that would help us better communicate through our communication hub, our Car Week hub on our website, cmonterey.com/Car Week, which is largely referred to as one of the best resources to understand Car Week. And so we meet with the event producers to get us our arms around what they're doing, what charities they're working with. There's over 100 charities, local charities that benefit from Monterey Car Week, and of course Concours d'Elegance, which is the bigger charitable generator with over $4.1 million last year. So we meet with the event producers, and then just last week we have another roundtable, a media roundtable, where we invite the event producers and the local media, local and regional media. We all met at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca last week to have, or actually, no, that was this week. A little off. It was yesterday. To have a discussion about what's new, what are you doing, what do we need to know? So the event producers go around the table and explain that, and they explain it to the media so they can report that. We also have many of our jurisdiction partners, elected officials and agencies who are participating in that. And again, it's a way for us to communicate to the community what's coming, how to be best prepared for it. And we have all that information on our Car Week Hub, which is available to everybody. New this year, we're doing a media resource center during Car Week, which is intended to be a resource for incoming media and anybody else. We're talking to at our roundtable yesterday, we're talking to our local media, but we want to get the word out through the domestic and international media that attend. We have the auctions, you have car clubs, you have a variety of other folks who are participating. They're bringing media to town. We want to create A, a resource for them to have more information, and B, very important to us, is to be able to communicate through those various channels our responsible travel messaging, which we do a lot. The program is called The Right Path. That's our sustainable and responsible travel program. And it's really important for us, not just to promote Car Week and that we're the global epicenter of car culture, but that when visiting with us, it's very important to be responsible, to be smart, and be safe, and be respectful of our communities. So we put a lot of that work into it, and we have over the years, and we're expanding on that this year with the Media Resource Center, and we'll build on that beyond in the future. So that's a quick update. I'm very happy to answer any questions or dig into anything further if anyone has any questions.
And thank you so much for that overview, because people forget from year to year just what an immense thing Monterey Car Week is. You mentioned a figure, 100 million visitors. Did I hear wrong? That's a pretty breathtaking number.
It is, and you did not. It is a breathtaking number. And over the 10 days that we're talking about, people come and go. So we derive that number from the reports that we get from the event producers themselves. And I think it's probably a little conservative, to be honest with you. We've got a lot of folks staying here, so the hotels generally get close to or at sold out. And then we have people staying as far away as Morgan Hill, San Jose, and beyond that, and they're coming down. Obviously, we focus a lot on the overnight visitors, but yeah, over the course of the time, the number of visitors exceeds 100 million. We're looking at doing an event impact study on Monterey Car Week next year. We're not quite able to stand that up this year, but we want to get some updated numbers for everybody. So look forward to that coming soon.
Rob, thank you so much for giving us the overview on that. It's so exciting. Anyone who's around here during this time sees all these amazing vehicles on the roadways that, even if you don't get to an event, you can, drive by as you're driving along. Some fabulous car will pass you, on the freeway, and you can feel a part of the whole festivities.
Yeah, and it's really important that this works for everybody, for the visitors, for the residents. We work obviously closely with the county and the real-time mapping. It's important for us to be able to communicate out where to go, when to go there, and sometimes where not to go, because there might be a road closure or some impacts there. And the more we can get that information out, the better experience it is for everybody. And I've said this in the past and I'll say it again, true, when it takes me usually about 8 minutes to get to the Safeway outside of Car Week, and it takes me a whole 15 or 20 minutes to get there. With $130 million that the visitors spend here that fuel our quality of life, I find it a very good thing for our community, and I know many others do as well.
And you did mention safety, and that's a great segue into Sergeant Matt Crouch from CHP Monterey office. Law enforcement, is out keeping an eye on everybody coming in with that many visitors and that many people driving some pretty fast cars. So we're very pleased to have him here to talk about, some tips about what people should do and what those who are driving in for Car Week should expect and how to behave. Thanks very much for being on the briefing today.
Hi, good morning. Yes, Sergeant Mackenzie Crouch with California Highway Patrol in the Monterey area, located in Salinas. And yeah, this is a huge event for us because we have our normal residents living here in the county, kind of navigating their normal lives that are going to be affected without a doubt with all the influx of people for this event. And then we have the event themselves, some of the road rallies that will affect traffic, and then the people that do come here and are driving their fast cars without respect to the law. So we're coming at it from a few different angles. One is we're trying to minimize the interruption to all the people that live and work and commute in the area. So we're working with our partners. Some of the resources we have are the Freeway Service Patrol, that is a tow truck that patrols on Highway 1 and US 101. So we've tweaked their schedule so that they'll be able to provide service to us. In addition, we're doing a lot of enforcement, in response to what the community has asked for us in the past, as well as just wanting to maintain safety on our roadways. So we're using the opportunity to have grant funded enforcement in addition to our normal road patrol officers. So hopefully that will make somewhat of an impact on the racing and the aggressive driving we see. So we are going to be fully staffed for this, as many road patrol officers out on the highway as possible. And the focus is just going to be getting our people to work in home, and then also do some enforcement on some of the aggressive driving that we have. So some of the tips that we do have for some of the local residents are, if you can avoid driving in some of the busier times and the busier routes, by all means, it's probably a good idea. We do have a good amount of activity that happens later in the evening. So if you're trying to avoid some of that craziness, not driving in those sorts of times. But ultimately, we just want to see everybody get where they're going safely, and because we understand it's a big event, but it is a positive one. We do like when we have people visiting our community, and we want to show that it's a nice place to be and to drive. So overall, we are looking forward to it, and we're looking to make it as safe as possible.
Thanks so much for providing those tips. You also mentioned something about grant-funded patrols. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes. So each year we have a grant funding cycle, and some of the things that we are going to use this year is we have one that's specifically directed toward street racing, aggressive driving, speeding, that sorts of things. So by being able to use some of those hours that have been allocated to us, sort of strategically here during this busy week, we're hoping to make an impact, like I said, which would be in addition to our normal road patrol.
And you did mention aggressive driving or speeding, and it seems that every year, if you don't want to wind up on CHP social media with being pulled over for a ticket, drive right, right?
Correct. Yeah. So sometimes it's these groups of folks that come in with their fast cars and things, but other times it's other maybe younger or other residents that live nearby that kind of want to jump in on the fun. And so while we want everybody to enjoy their nice cars and enjoy this time, it's not the time to be putting other people at risk. So like I said, we're trying to do some good enforcement to be in view of the public, to let them know we're out there, and to stop any of the aggressive driving that we can.
Thank you so much. And Rob, you have your hand up. Did you want to jump back in?
I just wanted to echo what Sergeant Crouch is saying. I mean, we have Colleen Courtney, our Director of Community Relations, on, and she's going to be reaching out separately to CHP as well as Caltrans. We want to match aggressive messaging to try to prevent aggressive behavior. So we're going to really lean in our tone for our social messaging. We're going to be warning people what's going to happen, consequences, amplifying CHP media or social posts when appropriate. There's a lot going on at Big Sur right now. There's the moratorium that will be in place before. There are 3 at last count Caltrans projects taking place, and I think we all know that folks come to town with their very, very fancy cars. They like to take them down to Big Sur, and it's going to be a different experience this year. So we're going to be trying to get that word out too. So we're very happy to, and we'll work very closely with you, Sergeant, and your team to do whatever we can do to make sure people know what you're doing.
And so speaking of trips, that's a great segue to go to Dina Northcutt, who is with our Housing and Community Development Department, because the daily event tracker is back and better than ever this year. And she is going to walk us through how residents and visitors can use this to navigate, no matter where you're going, whether you're going to something or trying to get around it. Hi, Dina. Thanks for being here.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. And I wanted to also say that we partner with C Monterey, and we're really excited to work with you on different things. Our website isn't like yours; it's really a web map. So let me go ahead and share that. Let's see here. There we go. Should work. So we built our Car Week map back in, I think it was 2018. Uh, and the need was really because a lot of folks were seeing events and not sure if they were permitted, if they were within city limits, if they were in the unincorporated county areas. And they would call us and say, "What's the deal with the party that's going on across the street? There's like 200 cars over there." So we're like, okay, well, let's see what we can do. And we already had ArcGIS in place. And so we were able to repurpose it and make our MC Car Week map. And they took it all down. We rebuilt the whole thing. And I think I just got it finished like last week. And we started testing it. So this is basically our new Car Week map. We have a lot of it looks the same. We do have a lot of new functionality that's very cool. We kept some things. So we've got our Car Week overview, which is basically at a glance, all the events and things. We also have our road closures that I'll go ahead and pull up the little bullets here. Um, and the road closures and things that are public works, parks facilities, they maintain that. But on our map, it's really the largest events that we wanted to list. And that way it sort of helps you with your trip. We have a QR code up in our header this year. Again, we've got the overview tab that has all the major events along with the links to their information. We also have the Caltrans live traffic cameras on the Car Week overview tab only. And the reason we did it only on one tab is that it does make the map load faster on your mobile device. We also now have something very cool. We have new driving directions. The instructions will open your Google Maps on your phone. I'm going to show you that in just a second. And then again, we've got the Caltrans and CHP traffic layers with the color-coded traffic conditions that we're all used to. So, red for stop traffic, slow traffic, green for go, all that stuff that we're all used to. We also list the permit center phone number, but if an event is not in the unincorporated areas of the county, we do note that it's an event within the city limits and not a county event. And that way folks can just call if they see something happening in Pacific Grove, they want to find out what the permit information is, they can call them specifically. I mentioned the traffic feed, and the way that works is over here I have like a one. If someone wanted to click one of these black arrows, it gets highlighted and then it'll open this little pop-up here. And then you can hit view. And once you hit view, then you'll have the Caltrans camera and you can hit the video button here and it'll come up and it shows you what the traffic is doing at that time. So if you're like, gosh, there shouldn't be any traffic, right now at this time of day, you can actually see maybe what the hangup is. So that's very cool. The other thing, this is so exciting. I've been asking for this for a long time, and the technology is finally there and sophisticated and ready to go. But it's the driving directions to each event except for private events. So clicking the event's address. So if you click here where it says WeatherTech Raceway and the address, it will open Google Maps on your mobile device, even if you're on your laptop. Like, let's say you want to see what's happening, you want to get some more information, you click on the address, it'll go ahead and open it just like this on your laptop. It'll also open it on your mobile device, and it will give you, turn by turn. You just hit start like you would anything else. I have not been able to test to see if it works on Waze. I have been told it works on Waze. But right now it opens Google Maps. That's very cool. And this is what it looks like on your mobile device. So MC Car Week on a mobile device, it was designed to keep the map at the top so that you can kind of get an overview of where you're going. And then we have the link to MC Car Week, which can be reached from our county's homepage and our Facebook pages and our special events webpage. If you click an event, like here I clicked the Quail Rally Day 1, it goes ahead and opens this up. It shows you where it's located, and then it gives you some information. And then I also have open on my other screen here. I've got it open and I want to show you what it looks like live because it's very, very cool. So let me do that. And C2. Okay, so here's our map. Obviously, you can zoom in, zoom out, whatever you'd like to do. Again, this is our overview tab, and I just wanted to show you this, which is our traffic feed. Click view, it opens, and then there you go. So we think this is super cool, and we're really excited to have that again this year, as well as, like I said before, we've got the directions on your phone for any of the events. So like you just click it, and this one is Bonhams, and just here's the location, and there you have it. So very cool. When we first built the Car Week site, like I said, I think it was 2018, we actually ended up winning a CSAC Challenge Award because it was able to sort of help people navigate. The good news about the Car Week website is that it's, again, it's something that we already had. We already had ArcGIS. We created this. It made it so much easier. But getting our permit center involved early with some of these events, the events are now really spread out pretty far and wide. They're not all in Pebble Beach like they used to be. They're all over the place. And that's great because it also drives a lot of the traffic to local establishments and helps to bring in some money into the little smaller areas that might not have benefited from that early on. So, what do you think?
And Dina, it's so interesting because this map has really evolved past its original intention to be so useful, but yet its original core intention is still there, where people do in some neighborhoods may see a party or an event that is just not supposed to be there. And it does give them the ability to say, hey, I think this is something that the county needs to know about, or I can find out if it's legit or not and just wait out the few days, or it'll be over tomorrow.
Exactly. Yes, they can go to the website and they can see maybe it's a 1 day thing. Maybe it's all week long. So it's from, Friday till the following, Sunday. It ends the day that the Concours ends or something like that. So yeah, definitely. So it has a lot of uses. It's I think it's a completely different animal than like the Sea Monterey, because Sea Monterey is all encompassing. It's all the other good fun stuff, like where's the best burrito and where's this and where can I stay and all that. That's more like, hey, this is the fun touristy stuff. This is also just a different animal because you're actually trying to see where can I go and how can I get there? What's the best way to get there? How can I get out of traffic, or how can I get into traffic, or whatever they might be looking for their vacation.
And the great thing is we hear people, it is beloved, that people love it. So thank you for all of your hard work on that. I wanted to circle back to you, Rob, because I see you put something in the chat to revising a figure that you gave. And you were also talking a little bit about safety with Sergeant Crouch, and I wanted to circle back on that as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Colleen caught me, texted me. So like you said, 100 million visitors. No, it's over 100,000 visitors. 100 million would be a problem. But it's 100,000 visitors and over 130 million dollars. And yeah, and I just was to finish the thought. We want to make sure that we do everything that we can possibly do to aggressively get the word out about what you can do and what you can't do. So you're going to see the tonality in our messaging upgraded a little bit on that, because it's really important that people are safe and that we make this a great experience for everybody, including and especially our residents.
And Sergeant Crouch, I think the people who come to our area for this are also going to see your cars as well. And that's just the patrols are such a deterrent, because you may be in your car and going fast, but yet you see the black and white and you automatically look at your speed and do the right thing, right?
Yes, in-view patrol is certainly one of our important tools that we use. And for the average person, it does deter them from doing anything illegal when they're being watched by the police. And then for those certain individuals who just being present, our presence is not enough, yeah, we will be doing aggressive enforcement. And we have other tools that the legislature has given us, like impounding vehicles when we have drivers who are driving without any regard for the safety of people and persons. We call that reckless driving or street racing. They can expect a 30-day impound on their vehicle. We found that a huge financial impact like that is usually a deterrent against driving aggressively. And so in addition to a citation or arrest, we have that at our disposal. And so we have a zero tolerance approach to aggressive driving, especially during this week.
Thank you so much, Sergeant, and thanks everyone for talking about this issue. It's such a big topic, and we just really look forward to another tremendous event this year, and then we'll see how it all lays out and see how the numbers come out after this is all over. Hopefully, they'll be spectacular. Again, thank you all for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So moving on to our next topic, more water on the Monterey Peninsula. That is not something you hear about all the time or very often, but there is some good news on that front. Additional water allocations are available to home and property owners, and the policy to distribute those allocations has changed. So we're going to find out how to request an allocation. We're very pleased to have Sarah Wikle with the County of Monterey Housing and Community Development Department to talk about this. Hi, Sarah. Thanks for talking about this really interesting topic.
Yeah, thank you, Maya. And I'll work on sharing my screen. I also want to know we have Elizabeth Gonzalez, our Permit Center Supervisor and Manager, on as well. I'll do the bulk of the presentation, but a lot of this is an interface between planning as well as our Permit Center staff. So let me get going here. And then I just want to make sure I present this properly. I always get a little confused via Zoom. Let's do presentation mode. Boop, boop, boop. Come on. There we go. And then I might need to just flip this. Okay, do you just see the full screen now?
Got it. Looks
Perfect.
good.
All right. Thank you for the introduction. Again, Sarah Wikle. I'm on our planning team here in HBD. So for the water allocation policy, I'd like to give a brief background on kind of where this is coming from. And the water allocation was provided to the county by the Monterey Peninsula Water Management District. Some key components of the policy that the Board of Supervisors adopted in June of this year. And then I'll go in a little bit to the key use categories that the policy prioritizes for water. And then probably the area of most interest is how to go about requesting an allocation and some next steps that HCD staff is doing in terms of trying to make this information available. And I'll cover how there's a whole host of projects that qualify for water, but really talking to our property owners out there who may have, an ADU, as well as some of the larger multifamily housing projects that we're seeing how they could go about requesting water. So in terms of some background, the Monterey Peninsula Water Management District has been using water allocations to manage supplies within its district boundaries. Currently, there is what's called a cease and desist order within the service area. And so the policy itself does not lift that cease and desist order, which has a ban on setting new meters in the CalAM service area. So at this time, projects that could request water do need to have access to a meter or other water rights to get an allocation from the county's water. The service area includes incorporated cities, so Carmel, Delray Oaks, Monterey, Pacific Grove, Seaside, and Sand City, and then the key unincorporated portions of Monterey County are Pebble Beach, Carmel, and Carmel Valley. And so the map on your screen, the big pink highlighted area is the overall district boundaries, and the light blue is this CalAM service area, which is where the policy is really focused and centered. And so kind of, why a water allocation policy? So the county has not really been issuing water for probably the last 20 years, roughly, due to a shortage of water supplies in the service area. So HCD staff had folks who were waiting for water, and we went through that approval list and incorporated those still waiting for water as part of the policy. But additional water was given to the county from MPWMD in early 2025. And since in the last 20 years, there's been a lot of changes in state housing laws related to prioritizing affordable housing for access to water or sewer services. And in addition to, there is a limited finite number of water available at this time. MPWMD is making a lot of strides in terms of furthering the Pure Water Monterey expansion project, among other projects that could, at some point, allow for additional water. And they've made it known to the county that water would be made available once this 72 acre feet is gone through. But again, currently, this is the amount of water that we have to allocate to projects in the county. And previously, county did a kind of first come, first serve process, but the lack of a formal procedure on how to allocate water, given these changes in state housing law and trying to further the county's goals as it relates to growth, was really at the forefront of the mind of our mind as staff, and as well as the board and the planning commission, the community, which is why we put together this policy. So some key components of the policy, and I'll go through portions of these in more detail. So there are specific use categories, which delineate what kind of uses are qualified or prioritized for water. There are some, again, discussions related to procedures and processing requirements, and I'll go over that further in the presentation, specifically how to request water and how to specifically request water earlier in the development process so that applicants and property owners have a little bit more certainty that they have water as they're going to construct and invest in building in the county. There are also some time limits related to when the water needs to be used. Some of the feedback from the public we got is that sometimes projects hold water for a really long period of time, and we're really in the business of trying to encourage projects to move a little bit more quickly. Within reason as well. So there are some time limits of note. And then there's also procedures to review the policy as needed. So say how the water is allocated and the usage patterns of the community, maybe that's changing, and we can go back to the board and have that discussion more publicly if we need to modify or change aspects of the policies that may not be working. So in terms of, thought this bar graph might be helpful, of water allocation by use category. So in addition to the 72 acre feet, there was about 10 acre feet that the county still had access to. So we're at about 82 acre feet total. There's this category or first priority of previously approved projects. So about 19 acre feet is dedicated to those projects, which means they have access to that water because they've been approved. And then you'll see the next larger category is related to planned housing growth. And there's some kind of project components that qualify for water out of that category. And then a first come, first serve bucket, which would cover projects that aren't meet the requirements of planned housing growth and other uses outside of housing. And then there's a smaller strategic reserve category, which is water that's at the Board of Supervisors' discretion to allocate, and there's some specific findings that would need to be made to allocate the water. So the kind of approved project wait list, this approved project list was approved by the board. It's on the county's website. There's no additional projects that would be added. And these, again, are some projects that have been waiting for water for a number of years. And so, again, there's that acre footage that's already kind of dedicated and held by those projects. And then for planned housing growth, there's kind of two groups of project types that would qualify under this category. And I'll go into those in more detail. They're both higher density housing projects as well as some smaller housing projects. So for the higher density housing projects, projects would have to meet all of the following criteria to request water. There's kind of three key takeaways here. One is that they need to be located on a housing element opportunity site or an affordable housing overlay area that was identified in the 2010 general plan. There's a minimum number of units dedicated to low-income households, as outlined in the county's inclusionary housing ordinance, or some other affordability criteria for workforce housing that could be met. And there also needs to be a minimum density criteria that's met by the project. The kind of smaller set, and the Board of Supervisors was pretty interested in this category because, again, we're hearing a lot about ADUs and JDUs as granny units being a way to meet some of our housing numbers, and also a lot of interest from the community. So an ADU or a JDU would qualify for water in planned housing growth if they meet a specific fixture count, which is about 12 fixture units And there's some calculations through some forms from the water district, but ultimately this should allow for a unit that has about 2 bathrooms and would look at the interior number of fixture units. Single family dwelling units on a vacant lot of record that, again, either have a meter or have water rights at this time, but once the cease and desist order is lifted, it would be opened up a little wider. But those single family homes could ask for water if they meet a fixture unit count of 25 fixture units. And that's inclusive of indoor fixture units. So like, again, bathrooms, washer, dryer, as well as landscaping for the exterior of the unit, the exterior of the property. Also, portions of housing projects that are the low-income portion would qualify, as well as some expansions to existing multifamily housing would qualify here as well. And then for that first come, first serve category, this includes, I apologize, the number's wrong on the screen. It should be closer, I believe, to about 9 acre-feet that was shown on the bar graph. So I will update that before we make this available. So I will clarify there's a little more water available. This is for that number's for the strategic reserve that the board allocates. Continuing on, apologies, for the first come, first served category, uses that qualify are kind of uses that don't qualify under planned housing growth. This is also where if someone was interested in doing an expansion or a remodel of a single family home, it could fall into this category so long as the existing and or proposed fixtures do not exceed the 25 fixture unit count total. So again, the board made it very clear in their decision that we're really trying to focus on housing types that ultimately can meet the needs of all of the community and looking at trying to best further or manage this limited water resource that we currently have. And then commercial industrial uses would qualify, as well as water for emergency situations. So if a property was in a high fire zone and through working with the their appropriate fire district, needed some additional water for fire fuel management purposes, there's some kind of a process with the HCD director where some additional water could be provided to them. And then now, and I apologize, it's a little small, but I'll try to walk through this and we'll get this up on our website as well. So in terms of how an applicant can reserve water is ultimately we do need an application either for a construction permit or a planning discretionary permit, so use permit, conditional coastal development permit, be submitted to our permit center staff. There's also going to be a separate, and it's almost finalized, water allocation request checklist that has the key components of this policy to ensure that staff can, determine that their water request is consistent with the board's direction. The applicant would then submit that checklist to our, we have a new email and again, this email is specifically for us to track water allocation requests. It's not a good place to send questions because we're, again, really trying to make sure we're streamlined with how we track things. This new email that was created was specifically to send those checklists to planning and permit center staff for us to review those as part of what's called the completeness review. And then the planner, depending on the type of permit, the planner or the permit technician would notify an applicant about their eligibility and consistency with the policy, and then the water would be reserved at that time if all the criteria are met. And how this is different than past process is typically that water wouldn't be reserved until a construction permit was issued. And again, we were hearing, how can I have additional certainty that water is going to be available to my project earlier in the process? So we tried to kind of meet a middle ground and thought that, once we see that you've submitted everything, we can reserve that water for you. And then again, the water is formally given to the project when we issue a construction permit. And so some next steps, I'm on our policy planning team. So we've had a kind of project webpage, but we're working to transition all this information over to our permit center landing page. So I took some screenshots here. So what we will do, I'm hoping by Monday of next week or mid next week, we'll have an announcement. So this is our main landing page for housing community development. You'd click on that announcements tab and then it would populate this screen here and it would note and redirect you to the new landing page for water allocation. And currently what we're thinking too, and this is just to help bypass the announcements page, is there's a drop-down center that you can click on the permit center, and there will be a specific tab related to water allocation there. And so for questions in the meantime, please feel free to contact us. over here at HCD. That permit center webpage, again, is the Housing and Community Development County of Monterey kind of website link. And then we do, from doing some of the policy work, have an interested parties list, and we will work with our county social media team to put out a blast when that webpage and all the information you need to request the allocation is available. And so that's all I have. I think I jammed a lot in 12 minutes. So let me know if there's additional questions. Thank you.
You absolutely jammed a lot into 12 minutes, and I'm pretty impressed. So I do have a question that has come in, and I'm going to see if I can pull it sorry, it just took me a minute to get it. So this came in for the 4 projects that have been on the waiting list. What type of development are they, and how long have each of those been waiting?
Yeah,
those projects. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, that's okay. And I was able to click into the chat as well. Let me just pull up the approvals. Okay. Give me 1 second. All right. And I'm going to just share my screen because this is on our web page right now, and we'll make sure it's back and uploaded on this new web page too. So this is, can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
All right. So we have 4 projects. So as you can see, there's a single family dwelling that was from, the planning permit was from 1997. So we've had some stuff waiting in the works, but again, and I have to give kudos to Liz Gonzalez, who's on the call, and she might be able to speak to this further if there's additional questions. But at one point we had 20 to 30 projects, and we as HCD staff prior to the adoption of this policy went through and kept kind of track of any projects that had been waiting for water, or notified if they were, or were able to figure out if they let us know if they could get a water from a different source. So this did trickle down from a bunch of other projects. So we have a single family home, and then we have a couple of subdivisions. So this 12 lot subdivision from about, it looks like 2002, 2015, 2018 timeframes. Those are the different PLNs. A project that was approved in 2021. And then we do have this lot out in Carmel Valley that was added in by the Board of Supervisors at the hearing on June 10th. So a couple single family homes, but a couple larger subdivisions to answer the question, and they have been on the list for a number of years. So again, it's exciting that we got this allocation and this policy in place to make sure that they'll be able to proceed.
And this is a great example of what, and the years didn't faze anyone who's worked in government. And to your point about a waiting list, a lot of these developers or homeowners have, because of our water issues, have really had to wait a long time to be able to do what they wanted to do. And which is why this is such a huge step forward.
Yes, there's been a lot of discussions, and I do again want to relay kudos to members of the public that we talked to, as well as the Planning Commission and Board of Supervisors for giving us the direction we needed to get this policy in place. Because yes, it's a very exciting time, and I do see in the future continuing to work with the Water District on when additional water resources available, and that might will most likely change how the policy is written in the future. But this is what we're working with for now, and we're working on getting that information out publicly to make it clear on how to kind of start requesting now that we're at this point in the process.
And so for people who are listening to this and looking at all the categories, and it's a little overwhelming, if someone wants to find out if they fit into any of these categories, what is their best thing for them to do?
There's a couple things. So we do have the actual board policy, and I believe it's on the board policy page for the county, as well as, again, we do have a project web page, but that web page is going to get retired, and we'll do some updated information and do a blast related to that. But you can review the policy. We will have a checklist, which I think will make it easier for homeowners and anyone else requesting water to really kind of methodically go through the process of meeting the requirements. So we're trying to get more of a checklist format, yes, no, providing some basic information that then staff can review for consistency and also answer questions. So if there's additional questions too, again, encourage members of the public to contact our call center. And we will also, again, have this webpage with a lot of resources available. I'm hoping, early next week, and we'll do a blast related to that to get that information out there.
And I'm so glad I see Liz on the call because people may think, well, I'm not really sure, but really there's no harm in calling, and your staff, Liz, is really up to date on this, and they would know how to help people who might have questions.
Yes, that's correct, Maya. They can call the county at any time. I'm generally the one getting the phone calls. My staff, yes, we've done training. Sarah came into our team meeting this morning and we went through this PowerPoint. And yeah, my team knows that if somebody wants to talk further about the policy and everything, that they'll come and get me or my supervising planner at the front counter. So yes, we are available and happy to help somebody walk through this process.
Great. Thank you, Liz. And Sarah, thanks so much for walking through this. This is very complicated, but what a great step forward. Kind of what a milestone for people who've been waiting so long for water. I really appreciate you taking the time to walk us through it.
Yes, thank you for having us. We appreciate the time.
And now, last but absolutely not least, reading is a gift that keeps on giving. And thanks to the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, children ages birth to age 5 can get a book every month. And First 5 in Monterey County has launched this program. It's very exciting. And we have Rebeca Zuniga here from First 5. She is going to tell us more about this, and her presentation will be in both English and Spanish. Rebeca, thanks so much for being here. This is such an exciting program. I remember when my children were young, they loved to hold their books.
Oh, good. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm supposed to share screen and my screen locked.
Keep going. It's so exciting.
Yes. Good afternoon. I'm Rebeca Zuniga with First 5 Monterey County. And as Carol mentioned, we are super excited to have launched and partnered with the Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, available here in Monterey County. Okay, I think I got it. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Thank you. Okay, great. So super excited that this program is now available for our families. As Carol mentioned, I'll be presenting bilingually in both English and Spanish. And so I promise to try to be as brief as I can. Muy buenas tardes, soy Rebeca Zuniga de los primeros 5 del Condado de Monterrey. Y hoy quiero compartir cómo estamos trabajando con la Biblioteca de Imaginación de Dolly Parton para que cada niño crezca rodeado de libros. There we go. Why early literacy matters. And so we believe that books are a tool to deepen connections, both in the brain and in the heart. And so reading is about much more than just academics. Reading together builds attachment, language, emotional security, and learning. And so bilingual reading really helps support identity, culture, and language development. So we're really excited that books are available bilingually in English and Spanish. ¿Por qué la lectura temprana es importante? Los libros son una herramienta para fortalecer las conexiones tanto en el cerebro como el corazón. So, leer juntos fortalece el desarrollo del lenguaje, la seguridad emocional y el aprendizaje. La lectura bilingüe fortalece la identidad, la lectura y el desarrollo del lenguaje. So, por eso estamos muy emocionados que los libros y las familias pueden elegir libros bilingües en inglés y en español. What is the Imagination Library? So every child deserves a strong start. That's what First 5 believes. And so Dolly Parton's Imagination Library is a free early literacy program that mails one high-quality, age-appropriate book every month to children from birth up until their 5th birthday. And so books are mailed directly to the child's home at no cost to families. ¿Qué es la biblioteca de imaginación? Todos los niños merecen un buen comienzo en la vida. La biblioteca es un programa gratuito de lectura temprana que envía por correo un libro de alta calidad y apropiado para la edad de cada niño todos los meses desde su nacimiento hasta que cumpla 5 años. Los libros se envían directamente al hogar del niño sin ningún costo para las familias. Quick Monterey County update. So approximately 24,000 children in Monterey County can receive free books through Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. Since launching on June 18th, we're almost at 2,500 children in Monterey County who have enrolled. And so we're already very close to reaching nearly 10% of our goal. And so a few ways that you can help is by sharing with parents and caregivers or on social media, in your newsletters and community outreach. Una actualización del condado de Monterrey es que aproximadamente 24,000 niños en el condado de Monterrey pueden recibir libros gratuitos a través de la biblioteca. Entonces, desde el lanzamiento del programa el 18 de junio, casi 2,500 niños del condado de Monterrey ya se han inscrito. Entonces, lo que representa es casi 10% de nuestra meta. How to register. So the process is intended to be quick and easy. So registration takes just a few minutes. Families can register online using a QR code, a direct website link, or with help from one of our many community partners. We want registration to be easy and the most accessible as possible. ¿Cómo registrarse? Registrarse toma solo unos minutos. Las familias pueden hacerlo escaneando el código de QR, usando el enlace directo o con el apoyo de nuestros socios comunitarios. Queremos que el proceso sea lo más sencillo y accesible para familias. Registering is quick and easy, and it only takes 4 simple steps. To make the process even easier, we've created a step-by-step video tutorial in both English and Spanish that are available on our First 5 Monterey County website under the For Families section. So once a family completes their registration, they can expect their child's first book to arrive in approximately 6 to 8 weeks. After that, a new age-appropriate book will be delivered every month until the child turns 5. Registrarse es rápido y sencillo. Solo toma 4 pasos para facilitar aún más el proceso. Hemos creado videos paso a paso en inglés y en español disponibles en el sitio web de los primeros 5 del Condado de Monterrey, en la sección que se llama Para Familias. Una vez que la familia complete su inscripción, puede esperar recibir el primer libro de su niño aproximadamente entre 6 y 8 semanas después. A partir de ese momento, recibirá un libro nuevo y apropiado para su edad todos los meses hasta que el niño cumpla 5 años. Outreach materials. So, if you are a community organization and would like to help promote the program and need outreach supplies, please register to order flyers. There's bookmarks, there's rack cards, there's posters, banners. We have many outreach materials that if you scan this QR code, it'll pop up an order form and you can order. There's different quantities you can order. No order is too small or big. We are happy to order those supplies to help with community outreach. So, materiales de alcance comunitario. Si es parte de una organización comunitaria, puede ordenar materiales de alcance escaneando este código aquí y puede ordenar materiales que nosotros les mandamos. That concludes my presentation. If you or anyone you know has any questions, I'm the go-to person for the Dolly Parton program at First 5 Monterey County. And so I really appreciate everyone helping us spread the word and, together getting books to all of the children and families in our communities.
Rebeca, thank you so much for walking us through this. This is such an exciting program.
Yes,
and I have to
you.
say, you've already hit 10% and your launch was only what,
A
a
month
week
ago. A
A
month,
month,
yes.
a month ago. So it really shows how much this community is responding to the program and of course to Dolly Parton, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, thank you. It's been
What
wonderful.
Talk about some of you're hearing from people when you register and you have these community events. What are families telling you about how they feel about it?
Oh, we've gotten a flood of just emails of appreciation and excitement out in the community. People are saying like, "Oh my goodness, I've heard of this program, you know, in another county or another area, and it wasn't available in our county for a long time." People were able to search on the website, and so you'd put in your information in your county or zip code, and it wasn't available for a long time, and so. We're just really proud to be able to have launched, and you know the community feedback has been amazing, but then also our community partners, so many community agencies came out to like our launch party, our launch event, and then meetings even before that, just to get all of these outreach materials and learn more about the program so that they can help spread the word. So we're really grateful for that.
Well, yes, and you've got to, you mentioned timing on this. You really kind of want to get your application in or sign up, not application, but sign up for the program because you need some time to get that first book. But then
Yes.
after you've done it, you are in until your child is 5.
Yeah, yeah, it's wonderful. So it's super easy 4-step registration, and you know, we're doing approvals every day and getting, you know, folks that registration and a confirmation email. And so yes, they'll hopefully receive their book within those 6 to 8 weeks. And then a book every month after that, that is based on their child's age. So there's age groups that they have, and based on the child's age, they receive certain books that are appropriate for that age.
Thank you so much for being here and
Yes,
sharing more
thank
about
you
this
so
great program.
much.
And congratulations on your initial success. And we hope to see
Thank
those numbers
you.
going up in the months to come.
Yes, thanks so much, everyone.
And thanks everyone for joining us on the news briefing this week. Our next briefing is next week. See you then.